Hello and welcome to this juicy 45-minute midday restore. For this practice, you will need 2 blocks, a bolster, a blanket, anything else that you may want. As you can see, I'm wearing some socks, some cozy clothing, so make yourselves comfortable and we'll get started in a supported Baddha Konasana. So I'm grabbing a blanket here, placing it underneath my sitting bones so that I'm elevating the hips. Baddha Konasana is also known as butterfly, so bringing the soles of the feet together. And then just starting to drop the awareness into the body. In this shape, I love to start by noticing the weight of both the sitting bones. And I like to play with simply just allowing the weight to shift from one sitting bone to the other. And just feeling the spine and the body rock from one side to the other. Allowing this to be somatic and slow, and then slowly allowing those oscillations from left to right to slowly minimize as I find my center here. Both sitting bones equal in weight, and then from that center point, drawing the shoulders up, rolling them back, and then starting to turn my attention to the breath, feeling it travel up the length of the spine on the inhale and down the spine on the exhale. And we'll just take a check-in with how we are feeling today. So notice what comes to mind when I ask you, how are you being right now in this moment? Not how are you doing, but how are you being? So often we answer that with productivity, saying things like, I'm busy, I've got a lot done today, or I have a lot to do still, I'm working, etc. But notice that those are things of doing. Being is different. It's your inner state. Are you feeling grounded, scattered, present, drained? Take a deep breath in here. And now ask yourself, how am I being right now? Because who you are is just as important as all that you do. Now simply take this moment to set an intention for how you would like to be. Maybe a word, a phrase, but whatever comes to mind, breathe it in on your inhale and then start to fold into it on your exhale, both energetically and physically, starting to allow the forehead and the belly to soften towards the earth, finding your forward fold. And just start to notice, now that you've started to fold forward, how does it feel to really start to lean into this intention of being? Starting to visualize your body slowly unraveling out of this pose. And then as you feel ready, you'll slowly start to bring that visualization to life by starting to draw your chin towards your chest, and then vertebrae by vertebrae, beginning to restack the spine on top of one another. Starting to slowly allow the chin to be the last thing to rise. But as it starts to rise, just drawing your shoulders up and then feeling them roll back and down your spine. Allowing the head to beautifully stack right over the heart right over the hips. And then just take a few moments here, allowing the spine to neutralize, feeling the residue of this first yin shape. If you'd like to, you can slowly allow the head to soften down, just rocking the ears from one shoulder to the next, feeling any sensations in the back of your neck. But just giving yourself a few moments to really feel into how the shape felt in your body, noticing what's arising. And then we'll just slowly release the feet from one another a little bit wider to the sides of your mat. And then bringing your palms towards the tops of your feet, slowly just start to find some cat and cows, allowing the belly to soften in between the thighs on your inhale, lifting the chin off the chest. And as you exhale, just drawing the belly button towards the spine, chin to chest. You can inhale for your cow-like spine and exhale for your cat-like spine, just noticing here any sensations arising in your body. And then slowly just starting to lean back, allow the head to hang back for a moment or two as you start to windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Again, not moving forcefully, but just inviting the body to move through anything it needs to move through before we begin to set up for our next shape. All right, so our next shape is going to be a little variation of a traditional 90-90 shape and some twisting. So we're going to start by finding our bolster, bringing it to the top edge of our mat. Your right hip will start just touching the base of your bolster, and the right sole of the foot will be just touching the top of your left thigh. So as you can see here, coming into a variation of a 90-90 shape. Your right hand will place on top of your bolster, and you can support it with a block if you'd like a little bit of height. And then we're just going to start by finding some movement through the left arm. So with an inhale, sweeping the left arm, reaching the bicep over the ear, lengthening through the left side, and then exhaling it back and down towards the left hip. Finding these movements here at your own pace, inhaling to lengthen, and exhaling to bring the left palm back towards the left hip. Again, just allowing each round of breath to bring some length into the left side of your body. And then now we'll start to add in a little bit of twisting. So on your next inhale, sweeping the left arm up and overhead, and then allowing the left shoulder to come towards the mat, bringing forearms towards the bolster. So notice here how I'm just starting to get a taste of the twist. And eventually, when you feel ready, you'll allow the chest to soften on the bolster, bringing the right cheek to the mat or towards the bolster to begin with. And as we continue to move and breathe through this practice today, I invite you to work with a breath mantra. On your inhale, repeating silently to yourself, I am. And on the exhale, repeating that intention, that word, that state of being that you have set at the beginning of this practice. This is a great way to keep your mind on the breath and keep your mind and heart on the intention you have set. If you'd like, you can start to deepen your twist by just either releasing the block from underneath your bolster, keeping the right cheek down on the bolster, or if it's in your practice, you can switch the gaze, bringing the left cheek down, which will deepen the twist through the cervical spine, all the way down to the base of your spine. If you have the left cheek down, slowly start to bring the right cheek back down, slowly reducing the twist. And then we'll start to bring some weight into the palms, starting to lift the body back up. Slowly just starting to restack the head over the heart and the heart over the hips. And without moving the lower body, just take a moment to allow the pose to kind of move through the body, noticing any sensations that may be arising, but ultimately just allowing the spine to neutralize itself. From here, keeping the legs exactly as they are, just slowly finding the bolster, placing it the long way in front of the right shin. You'll take an inhale to sit up nice and tall, and then as you exhale, we'll be folding over the bolster, bringing the forearms to either side, and again, just allowing the right cheek to be heavy here, allowing the torso to be heavy, any tension in the body to soften and release, and perhaps starting to come back to folding into your intention of being today. And taking your last few rounds of breath here in this forward fold. Perhaps visualize yourself unfolding here, and then when you feel ready to embody that visualization of coming out of the fold, you'll slowly start to bring some weight into the fingertips and the palms. And you'll start to slowly unravel the spine, restacking head over heart, heart over hips. And just allowing yourself to notice. And then we'll start to bring the bolster now behind the body. And then allowing the palms to come back down behind you, leaning back into the palms, lifting the chin off the chest. And this is a deep quadricep stretch, so you may stay right there. But the bolster is there so that if it's in your practice, you can allow the back body to fully surrender onto the bolster, bringing palms out by your side, faced up, a gesture to receive. And just feeling the weight of the spine heavy on the support beneath you, relaxing any tension built in the jaw, any tension around the muscles of the face, just letting it all go. If you notice that leaning all the way back like I am is causing the knees to lift off of the floor, that most likely means that you've folded a little bit or fallen back a little bit too much. So you'll want to bring your palms back down to the mat and just only go as far as your knees can stay grounded here. taking a few more rounds of breath in this shape. And then as you're ready, we'll slowly start to ground the forearms down by our sides if you're all the way down on your back. And we're going to start to restack the head over the heart over the hips, coming back to our initial shape. We'll bring the bolster off to the side, and then we'll bring the feet out in front of us, just as we were before, slowly just windshield wipering the knees from one side to the next. And then we'll begin to find the same sequence just on the left side now. So finding your block, placing it underneath the top edge of your bolster as the bolster is lengthwise on your mat. Bringing the left hip towards the bolster and then finding that modified 90-90 shape so the left sole of the foot is right on top of the right thigh. And once you're set up, starting to find those inhalations, bringing the right arm overhead, bicep by the ear, reaching through the fingertips. Exhaling, bringing the right fingertips back towards the right hip. Noticing the length in the right side of your body. Noticing any differences from this side to the side we previously have done. And then when you're ready, starting to add in those little twists, bringing the right forearm down to meet the left, and then back down towards the hip. Doing this a few times, just tasting what the twist will feel like in your body. And as you're ready, bringing the whole belly and the chest down to the support beneath you. And first start by just allowing the left cheek to be heavy. And remember, this is a restorative, it's a gentle practice, so not forcing the body to be in any shape or depth of the twist, but simply just giving yourself the space and the time to simply be. You can deepen this by reducing the block or the support from underneath you. And just as we did on the other side, if you feel ready to, you can explore what it feels like to bring the right cheek to the bolster, deepening the stretch, bringing the twist from the base of the spine through to the cervical spine. Taking a few more rounds of breath here in this shape. And then as you're ready, if your right cheek is down, slowly start by just switching back to the left cheek, taking a moment or two there, noticing the response, particularly in the cervical spine, and then as you're ready, starting to press the body up, coming back to your seat. Bringing the bolster in front of the left shin now, sitting up nice and tall, just taking a moment to feel the residue of that twist. And preparing to fold deeper now, folding forward over the left shin. And again, maybe you visualize yourself reaffirming your intention as you fold deeper into that state of being that you set as your sankalpa today. Taking a few more rounds of breath here in this fold. Starting to visualize yourself coming out of the pose, the spine unraveling. And then as you are ready, you can slowly start to ground the palms and unravel your spine vertebrae by vertebrae. Placing the bolster behind the body now. And we'll set up for our final variation in this 90-90 shape. Bringing the palms behind you, fingertips towards the back of the room, lifting the chin off the chest. Maybe staying there for a few moments, just noticing the sensations in the right thigh. And then as you're ready, you can deepen that in any way. As you can see, I bring the whole backside of my body to the bolster beneath me. So if that feels good and your knees can stay grounded while doing that, feel free to move in that direction. But however you are setting up here, just taking a deep breath in through the nose and maybe an open mouth, just sighing anything that's lingering out of the body, out of the mind, out of the spirit. Giving yourself the opportunity to really settle in and surrender in this shape. Taking a few more rounds of breath here. And then as you're ready, again, visualizing yourself coming out of the pose. And then when you're ready, bringing that to life by slowly tucking the chin towards your chest, pressing the palms and forearms down into the mat, slowly restacking head over heart, heart over hips. Placing your bolster off to the side as you slowly bring your feet back in front of you. Maybe windshield wipering again from side to side. Noticing the body's response to the shapes we've moved through so far in our practice. And then we'll start to find just a regular tabletop shape here, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then start to give yourself the opportunity to start to feel into how the body wants to respond. Perhaps starting to find cat-cows, or maybe making some circles through the hips, the ribs, anything that feels natural and intuitive, and how you and your body would like to express itself and move through space. Start to feel into that. Maybe pressing up into a down dog, pedaling the knees, shaking the head yes and no. Again, anything that feels good in your body, that feels like an honest response to how you are being today. And then as you feel ready, we'll slowly lower the knees down, bringing them nice and wide, allowing the tops of the feet to be heavy, the forehead to rest down on either the mat or support. Your palms can extend out long, or if you'd prefer them to be down by your feet, that's great too. Just taking a few moments here in this child's pose, this more introspective shape, to come back to the intention that you set for your practice today. Maybe noticing how you felt at the beginning of your practice and how you feel now. If that feeling of how you are today is the same, or if it's changed, evolved. And just taking a few more rounds of breath here, allowing the belly to get softer and softer with each round of breath that you take, as the body gets heavier and heavier through surrendering to this pose. And then we'll start to bring some awareness back into the fingertips as we slowly start to press ourselves forward, coming back into a tabletop shape, taking a few more moments to allow the body to respond, move through space as it feels inclined to do so. Circles, moving forward and back, up and down, anything that you need. And then we'll come back to the shape that we started our practice in. Once you're ready, that Baddha Konasana shape. Soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide, just sitting up nice and tall, stacking the crown of the head over the heart, heart over the hips. And just taking a moment to notice as you return back to the first shape. Become aware of what's shifted, what's changed in the body. And then taking a deep breath in, feeling the length of the spine as the breath travels up on the inhale. And then as you exhale, just surrendering to gravity, folding forward. Feeling the belly get heavier and softer as it softens towards the floor. Maybe bring the forehead towards the feet. And just taking a few more rounds of breath here in this folding shape. One more opportunity to really allow yourself to lean into that state of being that you set your intentions on for this practice today. And then as you're ready, unraveling your spine, restacking head over heart, heart over hips, perhaps extending the right leg, finding your stargazer pose, just feeling the openness of the heart. And then slowly framing the right leg, flexing through the toes, taking an inhale and an exhale to fold forward. Bringing the forehead towards the knee by leading with the belly button and the heart. Taking a few rounds of breath here. It may feel nice to find that stargazer shape one more time after that fold. And then as you're ready, lowering the sitting bones down, and we'll switch sides, starting with that stargazer pointing through the left toes, lengthening through the left arm, opening up through the heart here, and then as the sitting bones soften, squaring the chest towards that left foot, flexing through the toes and folding forward. Just taking a few rounds of breath here, just feeling the length of the back side of the left leg, bowing forward, bowing to your practice, to the state of being that you have manifested in today's practice. And then as you're ready, taking 1 to 2 more rounds of breath, perhaps bringing that right hand outside of the right hip, pointing through the left toes, finding that stargazer shape one more time here. And then lowering both sitting bones down, bringing the soles of the feet back together one more time. Palms come to heart center as we close off our practice today. Just taking a moment to honor your practice, your sankalpa and intention, and your state of being. Take a deep breath in, a big sigh out. Maybe bow the chin towards your chest. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The being in me honors, reflects, loves, and learns from the being in you. Namaste.